What's up, what's going on, Legends? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm bringing you guys the mission guide for Tier 2 of the Phalanx Faction here in Season 4. You guys can expect me to cover each of the 7 missions in this tier, and obviously once you guys unlock the final mission and complete it, you guys will then unlock Tier 3 of the Phalanx Faction. Before we dive into it, if you guys do enjoy this content at any time or find this video helpful in any way, make sure to show your support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Go ahead and throw an easy goal of 150 likes on today's video, as well as if you'd like to find your way back to the channel for more Call of Duty content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Alright, so first up we have Going Green. This one is going to be a two-parter, and I think it's easiest to go over to Al Mazrah. Part 1 is asking us to complete 2 secure nuclear materials contracts. So what you guys are going to do is open up your map once you've infilled. You'll be looking for the green contract phone that does have the nuke symbol on it. This will then ping this, head over to it, and of course you guys are then going to grab it. It will send you over to a toolbox location where you then will get access to a Geiger counter. Once you guys have access to that, it will send you to 2 locations where you will use that Geiger counter to find the radiated cache. You guys will open up your first radiated cache, go over to your second one, find that one, open up your second radiated cache, which then will complete the nuclear material contract. Then you guys are going to need to find a second one on your map, do the same exact thing. Once you guys complete your second one, this first part will be complete. Now part 2 is asking us to extract 4 nuclear fuel rods. So during the process of you guys completing your nuclear materials contracts, you guys will open up those radiated caches that we talked about, and in each of these radiated caches that you open, you should get access to a nuclear fuel rod. So once you guys complete your first contract, you guys should have access to 2 nuclear fuel rods, and by going over to your third and fourth radiated caches for your second contract, you guys will get access to nuclear fuel rod 3 and 4. Basically, as long as you guys complete the 2 secure nuclear materials contracts for part 1, and do remember to pick those nuclear fuel rods as you go. By the time you completed both of those, you guys will have access to 4 of these, and the only thing you're going to need to do at that point is go over to your nearest exfil or hit up that rescue hostage contract, exfil safely, and this mission will be complete. Next up, we have No One Left Behind. This one is going to be a one-parter. It is pretty straightforward. It's asking us to rescue 2 hostages in the same deployment. Now this one is going to be fairly easy. You're going to open up your TAC map. You're going to be looking for those rescue hostage contracts, which you guys should be familiar with at this point. You're going to be looking for the phone that does have the handcuffs on it. Ping that, head over to it. Once you guys grab it, it will send you over to a stronghold-like location where you guys will then have to open it up, clear it of all the enemies, defuse the bomb on the hostage itself, and you'll be able to pick up the hostage and head over to its exfil location. Then obviously once you guys have access to the hostage, you guys will head over to its exfil location, and you guys will be able to drop this off in the helicopter. Now normally if you guys are using a rescue hostage contract to actually exfil, you would just stay in the helicopter in order to be able to exfil with the hostage. But in this case, you will need to complete a second hostage contract in order to be able to knock this mission out. So you're just going to want to drop the hostage off in the first one, and then actually open up your TAC map. Hopefully at this point you guys can find a second hostage contract. I definitely recommend doing this on Al Mazrah just for that specific reason, as it can increase your chances of being able to get a second one. These are a hot commodity, as people usually use these to get out of the map safely. So then you guys will go over to your second hostage contract, complete the process, get access to your second hostage, head over to that exfil chopper with them just like you did with the first one. This time when you actually put the hostage down, you can stay in the chopper, obviously exfil safely with this hostage, completing that second hostage contract, and obviously wrapping up this mission. Next up we have On the Spot. This one is going to be a one-parter, and it's pretty straightforward. It's asking us to mark 10 enemies while in the castle using a spotter scope. So for this one, we will be headed over to Vondel, and before you infill, you want to make sure that your tactical equipment is going to be the spotter scope. That way you guys won't have to go around the map looking for one of these, which in the end could be pretty hard to come across. So once you guys have actually infilled with the spotter scope, you're going to open up your map and you're going to head over to the top left location, which is going to be the castle. Once you guys actually get within range, castle pops up at the top of your screen, you're in the right area, and then all you're going to need to do is pull out that spotter scope, and you're going to just aim down sight with it. Basically just hit the button that's required to actually pull it out. You will aim down sight with it or aim in with it, and you guys will be able to identify or ping your enemies. All you're going to need to do is, while it says castle at the top of your screen, ping 10 enemies using this spotter scope, and once you guys have done this, this mission will be complete. Next up we have Street Smarts. This one is going to be a 3-parter, and it's pretty straightforward. Part 1 is asking us to kill 25 enemies while standing. Now this is the most common way to actually eliminate enemies more than likely, so you guys will just go around the map as usual, finding as many enemies as you can, as you are going to be looking to eliminate 25 of them. And while you're standing or in the upright position, you guys will just eliminate enemies. Once you guys have eliminated 25, which doesn't have to be in the same deployment, you guys will then be able to knock out part 1. Part 2 is asking us to kill 25 enemies while crouching. Now this is going to be a little bit more challenging just because you will have to remember to be crouched at any point you are eliminating enemies if you guys do want these to count. So my recommendation is just basically make sure you're in the crouch position. You can basically sneak around or crouch walk at this point, and then any enemies that you come across, upon eliminating them, they will count as a crouching elimination. Once you guys move through 25 enemies in this position, you guys will knock out part 2. Now part 3 is asking us to kill 25 enemies while prone. This is going to be a little bit more challenging because you won't have much movement while you're actually prone. So once you guys run into a group of enemies, I recommend just laying on the ground and just trying to take out as many of them as you can before you have to get into cover or save yourself from being eliminated. Now a good time to actually take advantage of the prone eliminations is any time that reinforcements come in and the helicopter gets ready to drop them off. Maybe throw a stun grenade, lay down obviously quickly, and as they jump out, you just eliminate as many of them as you can. It will take you a little while to get through the 25 enemies, but just remember when you get to a group of enemies, before you actually start shooting and eliminating them, just lay down prone, continue to process there, eliminate them while you are laying on the ground, and then once you eliminate 25, this third and final part will be complete, wrapping up this mission. Next up, we have Security Checkpoint. This one is going to be taking us over to Vondel, and it is going to be a two-parter. Part 1 is asking us to place a tactical camera at the central station in Vondel. What you're going to need to do in order to get access to a tactical camera is more than likely you're going to want to, before you infill, make sure you have it equipped as a field upgrade. This is by far the easiest way to get access to a tactical camera, otherwise you will have to loot around the map. Hope to be able to get a little bit of RNG in your favor, being able to find a tactical camera on the map. But again, I definitely don't recommend taking that route. Just spawn in with one already equipped and you guys will be set up for this mission. Then you guys are going to open up your tac map. Once you're infilled into the map, you're going to head over to the central station location, and once central station pops up at the top of your map, all you're going to want to do is throw this camera down. Now it is important that you do place it in a reasonable spot because it will impact how easy it'll be for you to actually complete part 2. But then once you guys throw this camera in position somewhere where it says central station at the top of your screen, this first part will be complete. Then part 2 is asking us to mark 10 enemies with the tactical camera at the central station. Now this is why where you actually throw or place it is a little bit important. You're going to want to be near some enemies, and you're going to also want to make sure that you don't just go ahead and eliminate those enemies. You're going to then throw your tactical camera somewhere again, like we said. Then you're going to get your tactical camera thrown on the wall somewhere where you do have the view of the enemies, and all you're going to need to do is actually control the tactical camera itself. I did try letting the tactical camera mark enemies on its own, which it will actually do. However, these did not count, so you do actually have to get inside the tactical camera to control it, and obviously at this point you will then look at the enemies long enough to mark them. You're going to need to mark 10 enemies total, and you can continuously mark the same one as long as you obviously wait the cooldown period for them to be unmarked. You could then mark them again, obviously counting as an additional marking. Now it is important to note you wouldn't have to mark all 10 of them in the same deployment. You guys could go ahead and get access to a second tactical camera or come back in another match and obviously throw another one down, be able to wrap this up. However, it is a lot easier and you guys are given quite a bit of time, so long as your placement is really good with your tactical camera, you will be given more than enough time to mark the 10 enemies that you need. Mark 10 enemies with the tactical camera at the central station, and part 2 in this mission will be complete. Next up, we have Gone Fishing. This one is going to be only one part, and it is sending us over to Vondel. It's asking us to hack 3 contracts in one match using the Signals Intelligence contract. So this is going to be the new contract available on Vondel. Once you guys actually infill, you'll be opening up your tac map. You're going to be looking for the contract phone that has what looks like a microchip on it. You guys will then ping that, head over to its location and grab it. What it's going to then do is mark 3 different phones, one after the next. So you guys will go ahead and grab your first one, head over to that, then obviously be able to hack that location, go to the second one, over to that phone, grab that, hack that one. Once that process is complete, you'll go over to your third and final one. You'll go over to that one, grab it. It will go through a hacking process once again. Once that is complete, that will actually wrap up this contract. Now, actually, by completing the Signals Intelligence contract, which it will only require 1 of, because then we'll have hacked 3 contracts in that single match. And once you guys do this, this mission will be complete. Next up, we have our last and final mission, Long Distance. This one is going to be 3 parts, and it's going to be taking us from Vondel over to Al Mazrah and then back to Vondel. Part 1 asks us to take the tracker from the dead drop in Vondel Zoo. You guys are going to infill into Vondel. Once you guys make it in, you guys will open up your tac map, see where you spawned in. Hopefully you'll be located somewhere near the zoo. If not, you guys will make your way over to that south portion of the map. And once you guys get into the zoo area, you want to open your map once again, and to the left of the aquarium will be a building. Behind this building is where this dead drop location is going to be. You guys will make your way behind this building. Obviously, I will do my best as always to show you this location on the map. You will open that dead drop, and then you guys will be able to grab this tracking device. And technically, once you guys grab the tracking device, this first part is then wrapped up, but you guys will then have to actually exfil it safely because we will be taking this over to Al Mazrah. You guys are going to go ahead and head over to your nearest exfil or hit a rescue hostage up, exfil safely, and obviously be ready for part 2. Now, part 2 is asking us to use 3 UAV towers in Al Mazrah while carrying a tracker in the same deployment. Now, it is important to note you guys could actually hit the exact same UAV tower 3 times in a row, but you would have to wait the cooldown time in order for that to work out. So in my case, I did choose to go to 3 different UAV towers, but you guys should be able to use the same one if you guys would like to. But essentially what you're going to need to do is go into Al Mazrah, and with this tracker actually equipped, you will then need to visit or activate 3 UAV towers. So you'll go over to your first one, you'll activate it, you'll either wait the cooldown time to activate it a second time, or you will ping a second location and go over to it. You guys will activate a second UAV tower, and remember, these do not have to be activated all at the same time. They just have to be activated at some point throughout the deployment. You will then activate your second tower. Then obviously once you've done that, you'll either wait that cooldown period once again, or head over to a third location, and then here you guys will activate another UAV tower. Upon activating your third UAV tower, or obviously waiting the cooldown period to activate the same UAV tower 3 times, you guys will then have loaded this tracker. Obviously, once you guys have used the UAV towers the 3 times during that same deployment, it will knock out this second part. However, again, similar to part 1, you then will need to actually exfil this loaded tracker, so you will want to make your way over to your nearest exfil or hit up a rescue hostage, exfil safely, and then be prepared to go over to part 3. Part 3 asks us to deliver deliver the loaded tracker back to the dead drop at the zoo. So now that you guys have already left Al Mazrah, you're going to want to make sure again this is still equipped. You guys will then go ahead and infill into Vondel, and just like part 1, you're going to be headed back over to the zoo. So obviously once you guys get into Vondel, you'll open up your map, see where you guys have spawned in, make your way over to the same exact location you did for part 1, behind that building to the left of the aquarium to that dead drop. You guys will open up this dead drop location, place this now loaded tracker back in, and it will wrap up part 3 and complete this mission. Now once you guys are able to actually knock out the mission long distance, which is the last and final one in tier 2, you will then get access to tier 3 of the Phalanx faction. That's going to wrap things up for today's mission guide. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support in the channel, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.